In this video, we're going to use the TI-Nspire, and we're going to graph two different absolute value equations, and we're going to use the graphs to solve this inequality. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is input these equations on the Nspire. To do that, I'm just going to remind us of how we get to the graph screen. So you can push the on or the home button and select graph. And to input equations, I push the tab button, and that will take us up to the equation entry screen. So our first equation is absolute value of x minus 1. On a previous video, I showed you how you can just type in ABS and put what you want to take the absolute value of. I'll show you another way here, and that way is to push this button next to the 9. It's like a template button, and you have a whole bunch of templates. Absolute value is sort of in this top right corner here. Okay, so if I select that and push enter, it'll give me that notation, and we want x minus 1. Okay, I'll push enter, and there's the graph. Right, it has a vertex of 1, 0 and a slope of 1. It's a little bit deceptive in terms of how it looks because of the scale of the x and y axis. Let me just fix that, okay, because it's bothering me. So let's go to window. Let's go to window, option 4, and do a zoom standard. Okay, so there's one graph. Let's make the second graph. So that equation was 2 absolute value of x. Okay, so I'm going to push tab again, push 2, and then this time I'll just type in ABS, right? So you can punch those 3 buttons on the keypad, and we want to take the absolute value of, we got to make a parentheses 2 of x. Okay, let me just double check that's right. Yeah, 2 absolute value of x. Okay. So, so what do we want here? We want, if we go back to the inequality, right, we want 2x, which is the red graph, right? So we want the red graph to be above x minus 1. That's the blue graph. And I got to be careful. We want the red graph to be greater than or equal to. So above or equal, right? Because these formulas really represent y's. So if we're saying this formula is bigger than this, we're saying the y value for 2x is bigger than the y value for x minus 1. We're saying the y value for the red has to be bigger than the y value for the blue. And so, that's for every x value. So that's going to occur when? Well, it's going to occur for x values greater than whatever this value is, right? Because red's always above blue. And it's going to occur for x values that are less than or equal to this x value. Okay? So, let's find those x values, and then I'm not going to write them. Maybe I will, but we'll be able to kind of say what the solutions are. Okay, so we want to find these two x values where these graphs cross. Okay, and the way to do that is to push menu. Sorry, I should clarify. We want to be able to see the intersection points first, which we can. Okay, once we can do that, we push menu, analyze graph, which is option 6, intersection, which is option 4. Lower bound. Okay, I've done this in the previous video, so I'm going to go fast. I've chosen the lower bound and the upper bound, and I know that this point is the point -1, 2. Okay, so what that's telling me is the red graph, its y values are larger than the y values of the blue when x is less than or equal to 1, right? Because these values are less than or equal to 1. So what that would look like if we type it in, I'm going to use Desmos here, right, is x less than or equal to, I believe it was -1. Yeah. Okay, so this is what you would just write in if you were writing a solution. Okay, the other solution is going to be any x values greater than or equal to this intersection point. So I've got to find it. Okay, so I can see the intersection point. I'm going to push menu, analyze graph, option 6, intersection, which is option 4, and now I go through my same procedure. Okay, left of the intersection point, right of the intersection point. Okay, now this is a weird one, right? This is point 333. 0.667. Okay, and that's, you know, basically 1/3. Okay, so this region is going to be x values greater than or equal to 1/3. Okay, so the way I would write that is x greater than, greater than or equal to 1/3. Okay, and actually, let's just use Desmos, right? So you need to know how to do this on the Inspire for any assessments, right? But, you know, in class, or if we're not being assessed, we can use Desmos. So I'm going to put these original equations in, right? Y equals x minus 1, y equals 2 absolute value x, and see if they match the solutions that we're getting. Okay, so y equals absolute value x minus 1. Hey, that looks just like the graph that we got on the Inspire. And y equals 2 absolute value x. Okay, and guys, look what's happening, right? So here's the point, -1, 2. The purple graph, which is the 2 absolute value of x, which is what we have here, right? Its y values are bigger than the green graph whenever we're to the left of or equal to -1. So that inequality is right. And we can also see that when we're to the right of x equals 0.333 or 1/3, the purple graph is also above. Okay, so that region is this. So those are the right solutions. And again, this is kind of how your picture will look when using the Inspire, and you got to be able to find these points, right? Desmos finds them automatically. With the Inspire, we've got to be able to find them. Okay, so I hope that was useful, and see you on the next video.